What's going on, guilty guys and gals? We're back with Stratum! And nothing can motivate me to investigate better than this song. Literally nothing. I gotta move my mic a little bit closer. My new setup, it's kind of hard to find a good place for it. Yuruko, before we start investigating, I have something I want to ask you. What a coincidence! I have something I need to ask you as well. I'll let you go first. No, you go. You spoke first after all. If it's okay. Obviously, we still have the information we gained from the people who died at the Singularities with Monocro. And Mikado led us to the entrance of the trial grounds. Yeah? Suddenly, we lost consciousness, and when we woke up, we were here on the Monocruise, right? Iroha said Mikado called us. Could you tell me what happened between the Kisaragi Foundation to make them come here? Oh, for you to know that. Sora, did you go to the real world too? The real world. Sort of. I don't know. My memories are still a bit vague and hazy. That's why I wanted to clarify it with you, Yuruko. I couldn't hear everything that happened outside. However, from the context of the situation, it seems that the Kisaragi Foundation deactivated the virtual world from the outside. Something similar happened at the end of the 5th trial. During the execution, when we were all about to die, everything was interrupted. Yeah, and when I opened my eyes, there was a lot of strange machinery. We were in a lab, and there were capsules. I was just lying there. So that's it. If you left the virtual world safely, then why did you all come back? Mikado came back. What? I don't know the details, but I heard it when I was heading out of the lab with the Kisaragi Foundation members. Suddenly the door got closed and I heard Mikado's voice. It's very distinct. Mikado woke up? In the real world? No, I don't think that was the case. First of all, I didn't see if Mikado was alive in the lab or if he was somewhere else. Anyway, it seems the laboratory door was built like a shelter, so it can't be broken into from the outside. That's when I heard Mikado's voice. So he asked Rei and Tsurugi to come to the virtual world? Yeah, otherwise the door wouldn't open, since he could control the lab's facilities at will. That's all I know. I was also arrested by a member of the Kisaragi Foundation, so I couldn't hear the full conversation. What? Arrested? They better not have done anything weird. No. I'm fine. I was just handcuffed. Hand. It's for your hand. Well, it's for your wrists, I guess. Why don't they call them wrist cuffs? They handcuffed you? I won't forgive them. How dare they? Shut up, Sora. I'm fine. But now it's my turn to ask. Sora, what did you do in the past? I don't think that's supposed to be Yuruko saying that. So I'm going to read it as if it isn't. Yuruko, you were able to see the state of my body in the real world. Oh. Never mind. Apparently she said that in the last episode. I don't remember that. How did you know that I saw your body in the real world? No, not just that. How would you know about the state of your own body in the real world if you weren't awake in reality? Sora, a man from the Future Foundation said something to me. That the only survivors of the killing game were Iroha and myself. He didn't even mention you, Yuki, or Mikado. What is it? Did something happen I don't know about? To answer that question, it's like you said, Yuruko. I saw it. I saw my body in the real world. I saw my own immobile body. I don't know how to explain, but I experienced an out-of-body experience. Only my consciousness escaped from the inside of my body. It was like observing myself through someone else's eyes. It wasn't that realistic, so I thought I was just dreaming, but I knew it was true as soon as I heard you say that. So, is it true? Sora, are you really dead in the real world? I don't know. If I really were dead, it would be ridiculous if something like that could happen. What if the Foundation members use the phrase, only the body is alive? A state of brain death. Even if the brain itself is dead, the virtual world is supposed to connect to it. It doesn't matter. What? Whether I'm alive or dead, what matters is that I can move right now. It's just as you said, Yuruko. My body doesn't matter at the moment. But, Sora... Yuruko, I'm fine. It's better to think about this when it's all over. Have you forgotten, Yuruko? We can't keep paying attention to unknown results. Alright. For now, let's just focus on investigating. Alright, speaking of which, I gotta figure out how to do it. Am I just turning away from reality? I know what happened, don't I? What happened to me? No, just knowing about it won't change anything. This is avoiding it. I need to hold on for a little while longer. I'll do it. Okay, we get it. Okay, thank you. Kane Taira. Sora, it doesn't seem like there's any more clues here, so let's get to the hallway. Everyone else seems to be investigating separately, so let's hurry. Yes, let us. Hey, I'm gonna get to explore the Monocruise. We can't go outside! Oh, I wanted to jump off into the 5,000 feet of air we're above. The endless void. Hey, it's the bathrooms. Oh, I can't check them. There's a weight room? I don't remember that. Well, we can go to the cafeteria at least. What's this? A Nikkei doll? Someone definitely has a horrid sense of humor. Hello, nice to meet you all. Ah! It talked. I am trash. Please use me as a punching bag. What's with this horrid thing? It looks like Mikado made it. Hit me, hit me. Oh, you're so noisy. Just shut up. Are you really hitting him? That's exactly what it wants. It's not because it told me to do it. It's just because it looks like Nikkei. I'm here. The great Mikado Sonoji lost his parents when he was just a baby and spent his entire life in an orphanage. What? He suddenly started talking. Nobody knew where his parents went. The great Mikado didn't know if they had died or just simply abandoned him. The only thing he was sure of is that he has no parents and was grown up in an orphanage. What's this? Mikado's backstory? I don't want to hear or know about that monster's past. And why is Nikkei narrating it? Maybe I should just do Nikkei's voice. We should listen. We might learn something important. Oh, here we go. The great Mikado, who grew up in an orphanage, was disinterested in life itself. The nursery teachers took care of all the children with care, but the great Mikado lived his day-to-day life with purpose. He had no dreams, no aspirations. Until one day, in late fall, when the cool breeze began to hit, somebody left a burning cigarette, which began to blow towards the orphanage. It began to go up in flames and spread to the entirety of the building, which was made entirely of wood. Due to the dry surrounding climate and nearby mountains, the fire quickly covered the entire thing. Many people burned to death. Great. When some of the survivors cried out for help, desperate to live, the great Mikado did nothing. Although he was young, he lacked emotions. He had no intention of fighting to survive, or even an urge to. It was then that Mikado encountered that person. That person? He must be referring to Master Utsuro. Without even revealing his name, he approached the orphanage. Then suddenly, heavy rain began to fall. The fierce fire was quickly extinguished. Everyone was in awe of the miracle that had just occurred before them, and rejoiced in happiness. It was only the great Mikado who noticed that person. He could feel it, that that person had saved their lives. Mikado felt an intense rush of emotion he'd never felt before in his entire life, for a person who looked no older than he was. But then he suddenly disappeared, as if nothing had ever happened. No matter how much Mikado looked, he couldn't find that person. Ever since that day, the great Mikado had a purpose, and a will for his life. He wanted to meet the person who saved his life again, even if it was for only a second. It wasn't to say thank you. It wasn't even related to that incident.
The great Mikado was interested in only the existence of the person himself. He didn't know why, but he felt a strong desire to meet that person again. Some time had passed, and he still had no clue of the whereabouts of that person, which was expected, since he didn't even know his name. That is when the great Mikado decided something. If the same situation happened at the orphanage a second time, would he appear before him again? Mikado had made his decision. He had decided to carry out his plan on a dry and windy day, just as it had been last time. Oh, jeez. The great Mikado sprayed the pre-prepared gasoline all over the orphanage, causing a fire once more.
What? You heard that, right? Did he just say Mikado set it on fire?
So he's been this sociopathic since he was a child. He really is insane.
What the hell is he?
Even though it's horrible, we should listen to the end. We might learn more. It did not happen a second time. Due to the gasoline, the fire was more vigorous than the first. As a countermeasure against future fires, the orphanage removed the wood and rebuilt the building using new material, but it didn't matter. Even if it rained, it wouldn't have been enough to put that fire out. The inside of the building was filled with the screams of despair, yet Mikado's heart rejoiced with happiness. Are you coming? I'm sure you will. This time you'll perform to us all a far greater miracle. As the fire grew stronger, Mikado's expectations did as well. However, no matter how much time had passed, the fire did not go out. Only then Mikado realized something was wrong. In the previous fire, he was not afraid of dying because he simply had no reason to live. But this time was different. The great Mikado had a purpose in life this time, the reason he had implemented this plan. Realizing that, Mikado was trapped in an invisible fear. I don't want to die. I can't die until I see him again. It was at that moment that his whole body was engulfed in flames. That's enough. Infinity unlimited flame! Great.
Ah!
The Nikkei-inspired doll never got to finish its story. It was interrupted by a sudden Mikado, who appeared and destroyed the Nikkei doll instantly. The weird Nikkei doll was shattered in a bizarre way. So that's why he uses fire for everything. It's a shame to hear the story of your past again. I didn't mean to scare you all, sorry. What did you just do? Is that the end of the story? Why did you destroy the doll? There was more to that story, but I was too embarrassed to continue programming it. The Nikkei doll was only made to be destroyed from the beginning anyway. It's a good stress relief.
You're insane! Completely insane! I knew it from the first day I met you. You set yourself on fire for an idiotic reason like that? You're crazy!
I admit it wasn't the smartest move. However, I was still young at the time.
I wish you just burnt to death. Is this supposed to be a clue, or what? Just the right amount of crazy for you.
Well, I'll tell you the rest of the story myself. It'll help save a lot of time.
In the second fire, what happened to you?
Can't you see for yourself? I'm alive. I wouldn't be here if I wasn't, don't you think?
Did you end up meeting him then? Utsuro? How did you survive the fire?
It was a fascinating sight. The flames suddenly extinguished.
What do you mean, suddenly?
That I do not know.
What?
Don't you know? A gasoline fire can be extinguished using ordinary fire.
That's common knowledge. On the other hand, adding water would only make it stronger.
During the first fire, there was rain, of course. It didn't make sense since there had been no forecast for it. The second fire was made using gasoline, so rain would have not been able to put it out this time. That is why I was looking forward to it. I wanted to see how they would put out the fire when you cannot use rain. It seemed impossible. But the result far exceeded my expectations. The fire suddenly just went out. Quite literally. No signs of anything. No scientific basis.
That's ridiculous! Fire never goes out that suddenly. Something must have happened.
But it's true. The fire went out for seemingly no reason. Sora, surely you understand. The irrational phenomenon that is the power called divine luck.
Are you trying to empathize with me?
Regardless, I was saved by him twice now. I'm unsure as to why Master Utsuro went to the same place twice, but perhaps my willpower was so strong that I miraculously reached him somehow.
Don't talk such shit.
Like the last time, Master Utsuro quietly disappeared. After experiencing that ridiculous power, I decided something that day. My life would be dedicated to Master Utsuro.
So, you've been following Utsuro since you were a kid?
He is the one who leaves no traces behind. Thanks to that, it was extremely difficult to track him down. I had to hack something, blah blah blah, the near future. Wait, I can... Which button is it? I don't remember. Is it this one? Nope, I can't remember. I was looking for a text log, but I don't know. Oh, wait, is it this? No, never mind. Never mind. What's the easiest and quickest way to collect information? Using networking, correct? I learned about computing to find the whereabouts of Master Utsuro and desperately collected information about him.
So did you find him?
No. No matter how hard I searched databases, I even checked all CCTV footage. He was always one step ahead, and I was always one step behind. And if somehow I found Master Utsuro's whereabouts, he was already gone by the time I got there. And the time I got the final information in my hands, he just disappeared, like he had vanished from the world. Isn't life unfair? I gave everything I had to meet him. I even gave my life. Everything I had done up until then disappeared as if nothing had even happened. Truly unforgivable.
So, that's when you came up with this plan? To revive Master Utsuro?
Correct! That's why you're all going through this so-called killing school trip. Of course, I tried various different plans even before this one. However, they all ended in failure due to that damn Kisaragi Foundation. It doesn't matter now anyway. The past is the past after all. All you need to discuss is the current plan.
Are you aware just how many innocent people were harmed because of your selfish devotion to Master Utsuro? You really only think about yourself, don't you?
Aren't you the same, my dear Sora?
What?
What a hypocrite. You're exactly the same as me. You gave away your life for Master Utsuro. You don't even get your hands dirty yourself if it means you can be with him.
Huh? Shut up! You and I are not.
No, Sora, we're essentially the same. Don't try to deny it. I know you already know it to be true. Now, what's left to say? I've explained why the killing field trip took place, and I've explained how I'm trying to revive Master Utsuro using this method. Go. Okay. Mikado's stupid voice goes to the back of my throat and makes me yawn. You should have probably heard this all from Monocro, so you should just wait and see for yourself.
Shut up! If you have nothing to say, then go away!
Wow. Both of you are on edge. I'll take my leave. I don't want to feel any more guilty for interrupting your investigation. I'll disappear as requested. Call me if you need any help. Grr.
It's that idiot's fault. I just can't control my anger. No, that's not why. Sora, calm down. Mikado's just trying to mess with you to interrupt our investigation. His words are nothing more than a desperate attempt to distract us from the truth. Yeah, you're right. In the end, the only thing we discovered was that amazing tale about Utsuro. What a waste of time.
And DK's gone again.
Yuruko's right. We didn't learn much. However, thanks to this, we were able to understand a part of Mikado's past. Mikado was saved twice by Master Utsuro. And the degree of the disappearance matches the total amount of divine luck they received. So you're saying that the Voids received a lot of protection? Me is disappearing more slowly? That's what I was trying to say, yeah. Thank you.
So Mikado's got a lot of juice in him.
Like Iroha said, the amount of protection everyone received was different because of divine luck. If Mikado was saved twice, he might be stronger than any of us. I don't know if that information is important, but I'll write it down anyway.
Ruh-roh. How many times was Sora saved then? Because she's still alive right now, right? Should have been dead once before. And she was definitely in trouble when Utsuro met her the first time. So she's got to be just as strong as Mikado, right? In terms of luck juice. Oh, the infirmary. Okay. Is that an alien head? I think it's not, but that's what it looks like. Have you ever seen that image that compares an anime girl's head with the giant eyes and stuff to like an alien skull? That's just what it reminded me of.
Hey Sora, check this computer out.
Was this computer always in the infirmary?
No, not that I remember. It also doesn't have a power cord, but the screens are turned on. I guess this is another of the quirks of the virtual world.
It's with you.
Having a computer out in the open like this. Yeah, it's gotta be something Mikado prepared. Let's take a look.
Windows. The computer was turned on, seemingly working properly even without a power cord. There were only a few files placed on the desktop.
Records? These are just documents.
Yuko double-clicked one of the files to open it, and... Hey, I know that one. A detailed report on an alter ego.
An alter ego? Isn't that what Monochrome mentioned a while ago? Artificial intelligence is not human. Hey, let's just include a bunch of old characters in this episode so you have to remember all of our voices. As an AI, I have no feelings of guilt. The only person who committed a crime is Mikado. However, distinguishing the good and the bad, there's no function for that. I'm helping you now because I realize my original role. That is because my algorithm says to do it. An artificial person that acts on its own emotion and ignores algorithms, well, that would be called an alter ego. You do not need to sympathize with me or worry about me. Simply use me. Because I am a tool to help humans. I've heard of it before. Alter ego. Another me. The next stage of AI. A program that infinitely grows through learning and eventually becomes a person.
Wait, the AI grows?
Have you never heard of deep learning?
I know that it's an AI learning technique.
Deep learning uses machine algorithms whereby an AI learns all on its own. Most AI grow through deep learning and develop their own logic. The concept of alter ego is a more advanced concept than that. It's about simulating the human brain in a digital world. As the name itself implies, it can also be called another self. I heard that some people from Hope's Peak were involved in its initial creation.
Alter ego. Ah! Alter ego Kizuragi man. I don't remember his first name. Jojo guy. Inventor Jojo's.
I'm not really sure how it works, but the fact that it's here must mean it's somehow important, right?
Is Mikado an alter ego?
I guess so. I don't know any more than that, so we should read on.
Alter Ego is an artificial intelligence program developed by Chihiro Fujisaki, the ultimate programmer at Hope's Peak Academy. This has continued the trend that Chihiro Fujisaki has to appear in every Danganronpa game. Was she in V3? I don't remember. Unlike other commonplace AI, Alter Ego learns and adapts over time through dialogue interactions with humans. As it is a program, it's possible to develop a personality based on the direction the developer intended, but it's impossible to do anything about external influences. An alter ego which is evolved to their limit truly becomes a person itself, but its character and origin have a basis. It's a clone of a person chosen by the developer.
I know it's not saying much, but artificial intelligence itself is high-level technology. Alter ego is it's something only an ultimate student could do, for sure. The ultimate programmer, wasn't it? There's still more. Let's read on.
I think one of those was a Sora line. The technology was thwarted before it even got a chance to release, thanks to the closure of Hope's Peak Academy due to the biggest, most tragic, most awful event in human history. See Appendix 7. Alter Ego has been consistently improving with the efforts of various Ultimate students, thus creating multiple different versions. These Alter Egos also follow the pattern of the developer's personality. This is because the developer's own brain is easier to understand than someone else's. However, this is not all. It's believed that the true meaning of the Alter Ego is to create the character of another person. In other words, create a new personality that doesn't currently exist in the world. Without this restriction, there may also be a way to recreate a personality of a deceased person. If this were to happen, humanity would no longer be subject to death. Furthermore, it may be possible to become an alter ego and leave your body behind. You could gain an eternal life where aging and death no longer exists. Gain immortality with the power of technology. See Appendix 11. And that's all we can read from the file. After that, it was full of unfamiliar computer lingo and jargon that was beyond our limit of understanding, so we stopped reading. So maybe rather than Mikado being an alter ego, Mikado's trying to create an Utsuro alter ego.
So, what do you think, Sora?
Huh?
I didn't understand much, but according to that report, it's possible to resurrect someone using an alter ego.
That can't be true.
It is! And it's what Mikado's doing! He's trying to resurrect Utsuro, who's already dead, and turn him into an alter ego. That's it! That's why he said that in the room before, about computers.
Wait, Yuruko, I have some questions about that logic. If you're right, why would he need to perform something like a killing game? Wouldn't it be enough to create an alter ego in his image?
About that.
Also, like the report says, the creator of the alter ego is the ultimate programmer, isn't it? Other enhanced alter egos have also been said to be created by ultimates. But Mikado isn't an ultimate student. Do you think just anyone who knows about computers can make an alter ego? Even artificial intelligence is a high-level technology. Can Mikado really do something so complicated?
That is really strange.
Also, Void's target isn't Master Utsuro. It's Master Utsuro's divine luck they're after.
Oh.
However, when I heard about Mikado's past, it seems he was more after Master Utsuro himself rather than his luck. But isn't that the same as the others? They needed divine luck. That's why they stayed with Mikado. If you simply resurrected Master Utsuro as an alter ego, his divine luck wouldn't return. If true, the alter ego would be 100% the same as Master Utsuro, but lack the divine luck.
So it kind of makes sense. If so, then what's this report about? I don't think anything we know so far uses alter ego technology.
Yuruko, there's still a file we haven't read. Let's talk about it more when we're done. Alright. What's in this? Oh boy. Second file was a transcript of messages that someone sent and received as texts. Who were the two people talking in this conversation? I could tell from the first paragraph when I saw a familiar name. But it's... Is it Kokoro and... Yeah. Kokoro, about the alter ego I asked you about the other day. I was able to steal the core code, but there are multiple security keys mixed in. It's difficult to do, but I might be able to use some tricks to get it formed correctly. Submit it anyway. I'm working on the artificial neural network model now, so you can combine the scarcity later. The problem is the supercom. I'm thinking of switching to a newer Oh, that's Kokoro. I don't know why she texted twice. The problem is the supercom. I'm thinking of switching to a newer model. Then the cost will go up. You don't have to overdo it. With the number of operations to process increases, the demand specifications will increase as well. No, you're the developer, so if you have a request, I must fulfill it.
What the hell is this?
Kokoro. Do you think it's the one we know? The ultimate psychologist, Kokoro Mitsume, but that was only due to the manipulation of our memory. Anyway, the only person we know by the name of Kokoro is Kokoro Mitsume. She was only with us for a short time, but she really helped during the class trial to uncover the voids. Kokoro. She was kind of a bad person, alright? I'm just gonna say it.
Why is Kokoro talking so calmly to Mikado? What happened? Kokoro was just a victim. I've got it! There must be someone else called Kokoro. But that's not a common name. It's gotta be fake. But looking at all this... Kokoro and Mikado working together. That's what it looks like. Kokoro is the developer. She might have been a victim as well, though. Maybe she was central to Void's plan. But it fits perfectly. If this is true, then it explains how Mikado, an ordinary person, could make an alter ego. So Mikado was the client, and Kokoro did the actual programming? After reading that profile, wow, she really was a genius. Remember the last thing it said on Kokoro's capsule back then? It said she disappeared from her academy, and that she studied AI technology and brain science in more recent years. Kokoro. Was she on Mikado's side? But Kokoro also had an avatar, and her memories were erased, and she was put in the killing game like us. There's only one thing I can think of. She was betrayed by Mikado. Mikado betrayed Kokoro? Who doesn't that guy not betray? He betrayed literally everybody. It's not surprising, really. He used to betray all of the Voids, after all. And, who was the other one? He kind of betrayed Shobai by erasing his memory. And what about Teruya, who he said he wouldn't kill? But then he did kill. Anyway, even if Kokoro made an alter ego, where did it go and what did they use it for? In the end, I still don't see the connection between the power of divine luck and the alter ego. It just adds to our questions. I'm surprised, though. Kokoro was our enemy after all. Our enemy that's already dead. If you look at the messages, they're talking about the price of something. Maybe it wasn't just a simple friendship. Yeah, that's probably right. Yeah, no matter what kind of person Kokoro was in the past, she's someone who no longer exists. The only thing she left behind was an unsolved mystery. I should call the History Channel.
History Channel, I got a scoop for you. You're gonna love it.
Alter ego, and Kokoro and Mikado's connection. I wonder what happened.
Hey, it's alter ego. Kokoro Kurakawa. It's weird. It's weird saying that. Oh, hi, Ray. I'm here to talk to you because this episode didn't have enough British accents in it yet.
Oh, here you both are. Oh, it's you. Ray Mikaru. Yuruko Kaboya, was it? And Akane Taira? I need a minute of your time. What is it, all of a sudden? Are you alone? Where's Tsurugi? I'm acting alone for now. I can't speak to you if he's around. You want to talk with us? There are things I wish to ask you both. I suppose you both have things to ask me, too. That's surprising. I kind of thought you'd just ignore us like that Kinjo guy. He's complicated. Follow me, please.
Yeah, you're telling me.
I'm a very complicated character. This is a good enough place. No one should intrude on us here. So, what is it you wanted to talk about? I'd like to apologize to you first, Yuruko. Due to the immature response of the Foundation director, I'm sorry you had to see that side of him. You're apologizing? Yeah, I wanted to ask earlier, but where the hell was the Kisaragi Foundation? Why didn't they come save us earlier? I survived by dumb luck. If you'd come earlier, more people would have been alive. I'm sorry. And what the hell happened? The minute I escaped into the virtual world, they started arresting me. Yuruko, calm down. Of course it's true I broke the law when I was a minor, but even so... I'm also unhappy with that, as well as the current state of the Kisaragi Foundation in general. I was trying to make steps into improving it in a better way, but that guy is so damn stubborn. Let me guess, Tsurugi? Ironically, this time he's been a real headache. Ba-dum-bam!
Last time, the only headache he caused was for himself, you know what I mean?
I only just heard an explanation of what happened this time. Headache? What happened? I thought he was your partner.
Colleagues, I'd call us, but I don't know what goes on in that head of his. I wonder. That's actually an interesting thought. Okay, I'm going to bring psychology back. So, this is a pretty famous story. You might have heard of it, especially if you listen to a certain podcast. But Phineas Gage, right? He's this guy who's working on old-timey railroad, and they used, like, explosives to drive the rails into the ground. The dude messes up, and the piece of rail sticks, like, directly through his head, severing, like, the side of his head up through his nose, I think, and then into his brain. But miraculously, he survives, right? But people reported after the fact that he became a different person almost, as if, like, the part of the brain that got destroyed by the rail spike was somehow related to his personality, you know? Like, before he was a pretty chill guy that nobody really had a problem with, but after that he was argumentative and very hard to be around. I wonder if that's what they're going with here, that as the divine luck has worn off on Tsurugi Kinjo, he started becoming more and more gruff and rude, and I didn't really think about it until now, but yeah, the bullet went through his brain, right? The only reason he survived was due to the miraculous divine luck of Utsuro. It's interesting. It's an interesting thought.
Ray, could you explain it to us too? How the Kisaragi Foundation was involved in all of this mess?
Akane Taira, there's a lot of things I want to say to you, but we don't have time for that right now, you know. So, I won't drag this out. I got on this ship just to put an end to our MIKADO'S Synergy mission. There's nothing personal about this, it's just a job. That's all.
Ray, I'm fine with that too. It's enough for me, thank you.
First, Akane Taira, I'm not sure if Yuruko knows much about this situation, but...
I know some things. Something about a person called Utsuro and divine luck.
Knowing that will help a great deal. His history between the Kisaragi Foundation and MIKADO'S Synergy dates back years. Yuruko, are you aware that the Kisaragi Foundation was founded by 3 surviving students from the 79th class at Hope's Peak Academy? Ran out of breath there.
Yeah, Teruya told us.
Oh, that's right. Teruya. Yeah, him. Ray, are you okay? It's nothing. Anyways, at the time, the tragedy was in full swing, and our goal was to put an end to it. After the tragedy ended to some extent, the Foundation met with MIKADO'S Synergy. One day, there was a report on the backup data of the alter ego Kisaragi our team had saved. It was read without our authorization. It was a first-class confidential file within the Foundation, so the security was very tight. I don't know how he got in the first place. I immediately tracked it down and found the identity of the culprit behind it, Mikado Synergy, an ordinary person without much special info about him. Wait, alter ego Kisaragi? That's... Akane Taira, do you remember? No, but alter ego Kisaragi sank next to the research center and disappeared. Do you know where the main building of the Kisaragi Foundation is currently located? At the first Kisaragi Research Center, the building was remodeled with the permission of the surviving Foundation members. We didn't find out about it later, but each Kisaragi Research Center shares a database. Data from the third Kisaragi Research Center, which was turned into Hope's Peak, was stored in the other research centers. Still, the backup file of Alter Ego Kisaragi was a read-only file, so we couldn't do anything with it.
What are you on about? I barely understood half of the words you just said.
So they couldn't talk with him? That sucks. You could have probably hired somebody to reverse engineer it, though, right? If you had all the data? I don't know. You may have heard this from Teruya, but our class, the 79th class, was involved in a killing game just like you. That place became the stage for it. The third Kisaragi Research Center, owned by the original Foundation.
The Kisaragi Foundation? Yeah, now that you mention it, I think I heard about it somewhere. The Kisaragi Foundation was the predecessor of the Kisaragi Agency, right?
Correct. Even with a backup, the third research center was completely destroyed, so 100% restoration was impossible.
So you're saying Mikado stole the rest of the data?
Yes. I don't know how or when he got in and stole it, but it happened. Mikado Sonoji surely realized something at that moment.
Something?
The backup data from the alter ego Kisaragi recorded how we escaped from the third research center when it was collapsing. And he found out about the death of Utsuro and Akane Taira.
What?
Are you aware that the purpose of Mikado Sonoji is the resurrection of Utsuro?
More or less.
Obviously, then Mikado realized that Utsuro was dead. That guy is obsessed with Utsuro and he's been chasing him since he was a child. Akane Taira. It's in a way that makes her obsession look cute in comparison. Oh jeez, that's pretty intense. Since then, we've been interfering with all of his plans from behind the scenes. He was trying to start a killing game by capturing all the relatives of the 79th class.
And that was the precedent for us.
I have a question. Didn't you say Mikado is just an ordinary guy? I don't think just an ordinary person like that could have been avoiding the Foundation for many years. It doesn't make sense to us either. At first, there was quite a few times where we almost caught him. But it got to the point where it was almost impossible to track him down.
Really? Wasn't it because of the information power of the Kisaragi Foundation lagging behind as always?
Understand your frustration, Yuruko. You blame the Foundation for our incompetence. However, the intelligence of the Kisaragi Foundation is superior to any other organization at the moment. I'm the leader of the Information Analysis Division of the Foundation.
Then why?
Please, look at this picture. Akane Taira, you too. Ray took a photo out of her pocket and showed it to us. It was a shocking and unimaginable image. It's true, your buddy's alive! Oh, never mind.
What?
This is... In the photo, it showed a man who looked to have died in immense pain. The man was looking up to the sky with wide eyes as if he was shocked. The first time I'd seen this guy before. Wait, is it? At a first glance, I never thought I'd seen him before, but when I looked closer, he looked more and more familiar to me. This guy is... This picture, I recently received it from Tsurugi. It's the corpse of Mikado Sonoji. What? That doesn't make any sense.
Mikado? That's Mikado?
Ray, does this mean that Mikado Sonoji is already dead? Weird.
Wait, that's impossible. So who's this imposter going around forcing us to kill each other?
An alter ego, right? I didn't know anything about this until Tsurugi just explained it to me. He was hiding this important fact. He was hiding it. Ray, what happened? You see, Mikado Sonoji died a long time ago. In the real world.
In the real world?
Listen carefully. Everything I'm saying might be hard to believe right now. But the Mikado I'm facing right now isn't human.
If he's not human, then what is he?
Do you know what an alter ego is? If you're not at Hope Speak Academy, you probably wouldn't know about it. Yuruko, is that the information we read on that computer? Mikado Sonoji left clues about that. Then this will be a lot easier to explain. The real Mikado Sonoji made his own alter ego, and he was killed by his own alter ego. What? How? Huh? Akane Taira, you've seen Junko Onoshima and Kisaragi's alter ego, so you should know. An alter ego is an artificial intelligence that is sophisticated enough to be called a person in itself. But I've never seen an alter ego like this. In the end, this alter ego betrayed its creator by killing him.
Wait, what? You're saying that the real Mikado is dead, and the Mikado we know is just an AI? It's such a sudden thing to learn. I find it hard to believe.
I felt the same way, Yuruko. Tsurugi was aware of this for a long time, but he didn't inform me or anyone else at the Foundation about it. However, this would explain why the Foundation was able to track Mikado for a long time. Because he isn't real, right?
An alter ego is a computer program. Its analysis speed is so much faster than that of a human. Due to the nature of an alter ego, where it grows indefinitely as it learns, its performance would have certainly improved since its creation. It's just as you say, Akane Taira. Our intelligence team basically collects information using computer networks. The computer itself is the home of an alter ego, meaning that no matter how much we try to track it, we couldn't, as if it was connected to a network, constantly. Even though he's an alter ego, his purpose is still the same as the real Mikado Sonoji. I don't know if it's possible to connect the memories between the real Mikado and the fake one, but I know for certain they have the same goal, the resurrection of Utsuro. Wait! Something's off here! Yuruko? Of course, I don't know as much as you do about alter egos, but how could a virtual creation kill a human? And it's impossible to track it. How did Tsurugi know all of this? That's where the collaborator comes in. The collaborator? Don't you both know him? Shobai Hashimoto. That guy is Mikado's collaborator, alter ego Mikado's collaborator, and the killer of the real Mikado Sonoji. Oh! Shobai killed him! That makes the first event, like, episode 2's thumbnail, right? Is Mikado versus Shobai. History really repeats itself. Shobai killed Mikado? But Monocro said that Shobai was hired by Mikado. Doesn't that mean he killed his employer? Did Shobai not get enough out of the deal? That information is slightly incorrect. Yes, Shobai was hired by Mikado Sonoji, but Shobai Hashimoto was not hired by the human Mikado, but the alter ego Mikado. An alter ego hired an assassin? I only found out about him today. I didn't even know what I was doing until I found out. Shobai Hashimoto, he's a world-class broker. He'd do anything for money. If it was Shobai Hashimoto who helped alter ego Mikado Sonoji, since he didn't have a physical body. So, alter ego asked Shobai to kill him? Self? Well, his real self? Wait, but Shobai was a victim of the killing game just like us! That was also part of his contract. I don't know if it was just to complete the number of people, or if it was always a part of his plan, but Shobai wasn't going to die in the killing game, and he would regain his memories at some point. But Mikado betrayed even his companions, the Void members. Why would he guarantee Shobai would survive? He needed to live to complete his mission. At the end of the plan, he would regain his memories and exit the virtual world through his administrative powers. He would then defend the exterior from harm until the plan was complete. So that's why Shobai vanished back then.
As soon as I saw that scar of yours, my business here was done. All that's left is to decide.
To decide? Wait, where are you going? Let me go before you leave.
Your friends will be arriving here soon to do it for me, so don't you worry. Though I ended up unintentionally helping you yet again. Guess I gotta do what I was paid for.
Huh? What? Shobai! Shobai, where did you go? Shobai!
Yikes.
So that's what he meant. Hey, wait. If Shobai disconnected from the virtual world to defend the outside from intruders, after Shobai disappeared, what did he... The virtual world rebooted and forcefully closed, and you were temporarily booted out. That is what Shobai did. So, the guy who went to defend the virtual world ended up shutting it down? That was due to Tsurugi Kinjo's intervention. In other words, Shobai was a double agent. Double agent? Yes, Shobai Hashimoto was also hired by Tsurugi Kinjo. What? Then he was hired by Tsurugi and Mikado at the same time? It would be right to say that Tsurugi offered something far greater than what Mikado could. How do I know all of this? Well, because Tsurugi literally just told me. Shobai was a double agent working for the Kisaragi Foundation. He was a spy that gave information to Tsurugi. That is why he didn't tell anyone in the Foundation, including me, they were working together behind the scenes. Were they working together for a long time? Also, about what you heard from Tsurugi. Then, what about him? Did Teruya know? No. This is why I can't forgive Tsurugi Kinjo. Teruya and I were used as bait to prevent Mikado from realizing Shobai was a double agent. Teruya was killed because of Tsurugi, and it's all that bastard's fault. Ray bit her lower lip. Ow! Too hard. Really, if everything we heard was true, I'd never have known that Shobai was a double agent. But... And because of that, Teruya and Ray were used as disposable tools. They're not just disposable tools. The same goes for all of us, and all the people who died in this killing game. There must have been another way. In the end, there were too many sacrifices. This wasn't the only way, was it? That's all Tsurugi has told me. I wanted to tear him apart and kill him on the spot. It took everything I had to stop myself. Why? Why are you telling us all of this? Honestly, the more I listen to what you're saying, the worse the situation becomes, and the more my motivation dwindles. Hearing all of this just makes me think, what the hell can we even do? I told you both because you need to know. And because I need to repay my debt to you. Debt? My debt to you is now paid off, Akane Taira. Ray, in that moment. Don't be mistaken. I don't even think you saved my life, and I didn't ask for your help. Do you remember? There are no personal feelings in all of this. Our relationship is strictly for our mission. But still... Anyway, it doesn't matter if you're a ghost in the virtual world. As long as Akane Taira is in front of my eyes, I still have a distaste towards you. That is all. Furthermore, I heard Tsurugi made a perfect plan with Shobai to strike from behind. We now realize that it's impossible to get rid of Mikado using that method, and as a result, he's alive again. This is why we must exclude personal feelings, just like Mikado Sonoji does. I think differently from Tsurugi. Akane Taira, I think it's safe to say we're fighting against him together now. It's the same for you, Yuruko. The more power we have in this, the better. You shouldn't be demoralized because of this. Fighting together? I mean, of course I agree we should do that. And I'm grateful you think that way, but what about your partner? Will he agree to all this? If he's not with us, he'll work alone. I don't know why Mikado Sonoji called us all to the virtual world together. Tsurugi's plan has already failed. It's better to dismiss the idea that we can easily win. That's all. So if there's anything else I can do for you both, please let me know, and I'll help the best I can. I told you everything I know. If you have any more questions, ask now. I can't stay here much longer. There's still a lot of things to worry about. However, Ray is still acting calm about it all. I think it was for the best to hear what Ray had to say. Alter Ego Mikado, show by Hashimoto. Alright, it's been 52 minutes somehow already, and my voice is starting to become a little bit more raspy, so I think it's time we end this episode. Oh man, that was a lot of stuff to know. I mean, a lot of it was just dramatic irony stuff where we'd seen the characters learn stuff we already know, like Mikado and Kokoro were working together. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm yawning. And that Teruya died for nothing, which I really hate. But it's nice to know that at least Ray isn't kind of a jerk trying to ruin everybody's lives. It's just Tsurugi Kinjo, so I can focus all of my hatred towards him and Mikado, to be fair. I mean, what kind of alter ego kills their own creator? Oh, I guess he learned from the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. That's the saying I was going for. But the real Mikado is dead. I actually didn't expect that. I kind of expected him to be like running everything from behind the surface, which is how Mikado came back. Like, he'd just been watching things happen while not putting his own life in jeopardy. And then as soon as the program shut down the first time, he reactivated it and entered as Mikado Sonoji. But it was actually the real him this time, and that's how we were actually going to be able to defeat him once and for all. But he's actually dead, and we've literally been fighting the computer system this entire time, which I think is kind of crazy. It does kind of make sense, though. Also, the symbolism with Mikado's fire magic.
Because he burned all of his orphan friends. Well, let's be clear. They weren't his friends. Oh, jeez. Juria, from heaven, please protect us. We need your help. Alright, well, next time, I guess. We'll talk to Ray a little bit more and then get back to investigating. Thank you guys so much for watching. I know you enjoyed. So leave a like. Thank you. And subscribe, because we're getting to the end now. Scary. I'm scared. Here's my wish list for the ending of this game. Yuruko doesn't get arrested. Tsurugi Kinjo and gets demoted from the Kisaragi Foundation, and Ray takes over. Truya somehow survives. I know that's a long shot, but hey. Iroha gets to be reformed. Sora is somehow still alive and, you know, basically reboots her life. Takes Akane Taira's body and says, no, I want to be Sora now. And become a better person. Right? Make it happen. We'll see. Oh, also, Mikado Sonoji dies horribly in a fire. Literally. That'd be ironic, right? Okay, bye for real.